Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel AsheikaBelieves. I'm Asheika, and if you haven't subscribed, please make sure you do, and I appreciate everyone who has done so. And if you watched my recent video, thank you so much as well. So welcome back to my emotional purity series. If you have watched my previous video of the time when I was emotionally impure, then you'll be up to date as to what I'll be talking about today. So in today's video, I'll be giving advice based on my story and from other experiences as well. So many people don't actually understand what it means to be emotionally impure and aren't even aware of times where they may be emotionally impure. And also there's so much emphasis put on physical purity and maintaining your physical purity that so many people forget the concept of being emotionally pure as well. So what is emotional purity? So for me personally, emotional purity involves setting boundaries that don't exceed a level of intimacy emotionally. So if I know that I have set the foundation of a friendship, that should stay within the intimacy of a friendship. So I know that there are certain things that I can't say or do with that person because I need to ensure that that intimacy is within the boundaries of a friendship. So my first tip is to make your intentions clear. Guys, ladies, make your intentions clear. If feelings aren't clearly defined and emotions aren't clearly defined, that will leave room for confusion. So if you know that you may have feelings for someone, then make those intentions clear. And I know so many people are scared about sharing how they feel with another person. You'll be left confused and playing the assumption game, thinking, oh, does he like me, does she like me, he's doing all these stuff for me, she's saying this, whatever. Because with my experience, I kept saying, yeah, does he like me because he's doing and saying all these things for me, but it just gave room for confusion. And that's why it's important to make your intentions clear from the beginning. Establish what that relationship is, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a pursuit, or whether you actually want to be in a relationship with that person.
And don't do girlfriend duties when you haven't been named the girlfriend. Don't do that. Don't be cooking for your your friend.
So exactly, it's so true. So if you know that it's just a friendship, stick within the boundaries of that friendship. So many people, oh my gosh, in first year, remember when I was always cooking for guys? I was basically a housewife, guys. And I actually deeped it. I was like, you know what, God, I need to stop this because I'm giving so much to other people that technically I should be saving for my husband. Yeah, definitely. So don't be playing boyfriend or girlfriend when you haven't established that foundation and you are just friends. My second point is keep your thoughts in check. Keep your imagination in check, your feelings in check. Just keep everything in check, please, because oftentimes as ladies, if a guy does a simple thing for us like open the door or pick up something for us or even text us, we're thinking of the wedding, we're thinking of the babies, putting his last name next to ours, and our imagination just takes us places that really aren't necessary. And I have my Bible here as well. So if we go to Philippians chapter 4 verse 8, it says, fix your thoughts on what is true and honourable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. Think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. So if you are thinking of things that you think could possibly happen and they're not true, then you really need to bring that back and evaluate what you're actually thinking about. Many times we can even have thoughts that aren't glorifying God. We can have impure thoughts, and you really have to understand what the scripture is saying to think about things that are pure. So if you know that you are having impure thoughts, you need to bring everything back and take it to Christ, take it to his feet, because you don't want to be having impure or thoughts that aren't true about a guy whereby the relationship has not been established.
Don't get lost in the sauce.
And 2 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 5 also says, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. So when we have imaginations that exalt itself above God, if you're always thinking about that person, many occasions I thought about that guy more than I was praying or reading my Bible, and that's where I really had to deep it and understand that I'm exalting every thought that I'm thinking above God. So I really had to bring it to the throne of God and just surrender it to Him. And also you need to understand that these things can also become mental strongholds, and they can potentially draw you away from God if you're not aware of what is happening. So make sure that with every thought that you're having about that person, that it is in line with God's will, and that you're not thinking completely outside the box, because yeah, it will just leave you confused and it's not good at all. My third tip is to look out for red flags. I know that so many times, just looking back at the whole situation now, God gave me so many signs to put an end to this, but I just continued to give into that situation. So when God is giving you a sign that, okay, no, this needs to end, then understand that when He's speaking to you, He is speaking to you, and He doesn't speak just to be heard. He speaks to be obeyed. So listen to what He is saying and understand that He has your best interests at heart. My fourth point is, don't always listen to what your friends say. In my situation, I know that my friends from work had my best interests at heart, but there are many times where they entertain the situation, like, yeah, I think he likes you too, he looks at you differently, things like that, he's even bought you food, whatever, blah blah blah. But there are times where I was like, you know what, can you please stop, because I don't want any more feelings festering up in my head right now. So don't always allow your friends to entertain the situation. There's a time where you need to stop and say, okay, right now, yeah, I understand what you're trying to do as my friend, but that's really not necessary, because I think a lot of the times when my friends were entertaining it, it was not necessary, because that only festered up my feelings even more. So yeah, inform your friends, guys. So my fifth tip is to not always share everything with that person. In my situation, I would always share so much with the guy because we're very transparent and open with each other. So I would share things with him, whether it was emotionally, spiritually and personally as well, and he would also do the same. And looking back at it now, I really should have guarded my heart in that situation to know what to share and not what to share with him, because that created that space whereby I felt like I needed to share so much with him and he needed to share so much with me, and that actually wasn't necessary. And I also remember going to a weekend away, a young adults weekend away, and one of my pastors said that girls and guys often have this fake girlfriend and boyfriend relationship when they become emotionally intimate by sharing so much with each other, and it's that they become accountable to each other when no foundation has been laid. So he said that girls should stay with speaking to their girlfriends and guys should continue speaking to their guy friends, because there are even times where he would message me and say, oh, I'm feeling this way and things like that, but there are times where I should have said, you know what, I think you should speak to a guy friend about this rather than myself. So that is important. Make sure you know what you're saying and that you don't share so much as well. My last and final point is to forgive that person who may have hurt you, and not only forgive them but forgive yourself as well, because I know that after I was hurt by that person saying, yeah, I still care about you, we'll still keep in contact, things like that, and then to not speaking to them at all, it really hurt, because so many times I've had friends who have said, yeah, we're here for you, girl, things like that, and then they just bounce, gone. And I think as you follow me on my journey, you'll understand a lot more as well, because there's a lot of roots behind it, so you understand a lot more. But many people are hurt when this happens to them, and others may not understand why, but that's their personal story as well, and it's important to understand where they're coming from. And in terms of me forgiving myself, I had honestly thought that it's like I put God aside for someone else. So times where I could have been speaking to God about a situation, I would be speaking to the guy about it. And it made me realize that God really needs to take his rightful place in my life and in my heart, that I need to establish where God is in my life and make him the center of my life, and not allow man to become the center or an idol in my life. So I really had to forgive myself as well. And if you have gone through the same thing and you haven't forgiven yourself, I really encourage you to do so, because you haven't felt God, you haven't felt him, and it will take time for your heart to heal. But honestly, trust the process and know that God loves you and he cares about you as well. I know that he has already forgiven you. When Jesus Christ died on that cross, he forgave you, and I had to understand that myself. So that's it for my 6 tips. I really hope that you got something from this and you're able to apply these principles to your life as well. So if you do come across a guy or a female that you know what to say, what not to do, and how to guard your heart as well, I'll also be releasing other videos as part of my emotional purity series, like guarding your heart, and also Q&A as well. So if you do have any questions, please send them through. You can email me. For those of you who have my number, you can message me, call me, and also tweet me as well. You can use the hashtag emotional purity series, and I'll make sure I keep an eye out for your questions. If you haven't watched my previous video of the time when I was emotionally impure, please do so, as you'll understand the videos I'll be releasing for the rest of the series. And I hope you enjoy the journey with me. Continue to follow me, and please make sure you do subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications. Peace and love.